Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm doing another round of beauty updates, beauty reviews, like what's good, what's not. My goal is always to get back to you. I realize some of these things have been sitting for a while. And I want to try and kind of get myself caught up so that I get back to you with a full-on review within a matter of weeks and it's not like months and change, okay? Because some things are seasonal and you want to know, do you want to pick them up while you can still get them? All right, so I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to start with the stuff I picked up during the Sydney Grace Christmas in July sale. I got a ton of singles. I'll just be honest and tell you, I love the Sydney Grace eyeshadow formula, the pressed eyeshadow formula. The pressed pigments are my favorite. I love that really like metallic quality. And since I put all of the new ones in my like giant collection, I don't remember which ones were new and which ones I've had, okay? But the truth is I picked up fewer singles and I ended up buying more palettes during the sale. So let me start with what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing this. This is Love's Journey. This is the light version. Love how inclusive Sydney Grace is, how they do a light and a deep version. And this is what I have on my eyes today. And this shade right here in Lovesick is kind of like what's on the center. Oh, my fave. And this one here in Kisses is what I also have like on the inner portion. This formula is literally what makes me like crazy for the brand. Look how shiny and gorgeous these are. The mattes are also like wildly delicious. They're easy to blend. I don't feel like I need to put down an eyeshadow primer. I don't have particularly oily eyelids. So as the weather kind of cools down and I'm perspiring less, a look that I do like this, because I don't have any primer on today, is gonna last all day on me. If you use a primer all the time, these go great over a primer, but I think sometimes it's interesting to hear which ones need a primer for longevity, not these guys. Every single Sydney Grace shadow I have works beautiful with and without primer, but I have really been liking this, and I feel like this is a great one for fall if you're wanting kind of like a fall themed palette. I know we've got just a ton of neutrals in here, but you have like cool neutrals along the bottom, warm neutrals in the middle, and things that can go either way in the middle row. I really love Love's Journey, and I've been reaching for it a lot. Another one I've been obsessed with is this. This is Heaven on Earth. This is, again, the light version of this palette. So this comes in two versions, but look at this. And it's these kind of murky colors right here. This shade right here in Tide Rising, what a pretty metallic, but kind of not too deep of a green shade. I also really like this one here in Relentless, and the one at the end called Exceptional. I mean, come on. Doesn't that remind you kind of like a beetle wing or something? These are so pretty, so pretty, so pretty. I've been wearing this a lot, and I've been kind of leaning into like darker liner, liner in the waterline, big, crazy, like crazy mascara when I wear this. But if you want a really soft, really pretty look, you can get it with this. But I like that this kind of leans into these more murky, slightly olivey tones. I'm just gonna tell you, I haven't really used this shade here. I have used this one and this one, but just barely. The only one that I haven't worn on the eye is this kind of blue in the middle. But I like that they give you that pop if you like a bright color on the eye. I feel like this is really, really good also for fall because it has those kind of murky olivey tones, which are beautiful this time of year. Quality on both of these are exceptional. And if you love either of these color stories, definitely worth your time. Here's another one that I haven't been reaching for as much because although it's in new packaging, I've had this color story for a while, and it's the Raspberry Kiss. So I picked it up. This year is the year that they put it in its own like 9-pan cardboard packaging with the mirror and the cute little strawberries and lips on the front. I love that. But they released it, was it 2018, 2019, as a 9-pan bundle where you got these exact shades as eyeshadow singles that you could put in your own magnetic palette. So I've had these shades. I love these shades. I've been using these shades for several years now, but I find that when I have it in a dedicated palette like this and they all stay together, I actually create looks with these shades more because all of the shades that I have as singles that I got, you know, years ago in the 9-pan bundle, I have them like kind of scattered. I didn't keep them like all 9 together, and I kind of wish I had, but I really, really, really like this. I just haven't been reaching for it as much, but now that temperatures are cooling down and I definitely want to get more of like a fall vibe. I probably will reach for more of like these berry and burgundy tones. I think they're stunning. So this was a great purchase for me. Now let me tell you a couple things that I picked up that I was like, okay. I'm really picky when it comes to brow products. I'm wearing these today, but every time I reach for these, I struggle. And it could be that I am not a powder eyebrow sort of person. I do best with a pencil and a tinted fiber gel, but their new Mad For You brows, they come with 5 matte shades, and it looks how like, especially these ones in the middle here, don't they look really cool? They tend to look a little bit warmer on the eye than I expected, and I feel like that's really interesting, especially this one here in the middle. Like these two can pull a little warm. This one's definitely cool, but sometimes I feel like I'm using what I think are cool shades, and then I'm editing a video and I'm like, why do my eyebrows look like they're like I'm a redhead? I must have picked the wrong shade in here. The one thing you can do is these palettes, this one here is the dark brown eyebrow palette. They have a lot of different variations of this, or you can build your own and you can pick exactly what shade you want in here. I think that's nice, but for me, these aren't bad. I just feel more confident, and I feel like my eyebrows don't get away from me, and it's just how I like to wear my eyebrows when I'm not using powder, because sometimes I feel like I end up with Sharpie brows. Like I keep going on trying to fill in that one spot, and I don't do that with like a brow pencil and a tinted fiber gel. I feel like I end up getting more eyebrows than I intended to. And I don't know that these colors, maybe if these colors pulled a little bit cooler or a little bit more neutral and weren't quite as warm, I feel like maybe I'd reach for this more. I also picked up 2 of their cream products. I'm wearing these today. I have both the blush and the highlight on. The blush is called Dreamy, and it's a really pretty kind of soft pinky mauve. Is there anything wrong with this? No, it's really pretty. I love it. The problem I have is that I feel like partway through the day, it disappears. And it could be that it's a really light shade, and once I kind of get it blended in, it's like, bye-bye. I do like this highlight in Happy Thoughts just a little bit more. This really light, subtle glow comes from this highlight. I like picking it up on a synthetic brush. So this is the one that I use today for both blush and highlight. And I like that I can, you know, pick a little bit of this up and just kind of like hit the high points, and it helps to blend it in with very, very little effort. What I like about this is I feel like this pearl, the shiny part of this that's in here, never makes my mature skin look, it's shiny, it's pretty, but it's not so shimmery, and it doesn't have large glitter particles. So if you like a subtle highlight but a little highlight, you might really like these. I feel like these wear really pretty when you first put them on, but they need to be touched up during the day, especially the blush. And I'm not sure if it's because it's a light shade or whether it's just this formula in general. I like them, but when I need something that's gonna hang tight all day, these aren't what I'm reaching for. I also got some face brushes and eye brushes. I got the full face set. The ones that I have been using the most are these guys right here. So this is the F01 and this is the F04. So I use this for foundation and I use this for concealer. And out of all the brushes I got during the sale, these are the ones that I'm perpetually reaching for, washing, and going back to. Love these guys. All right, the other ones that I use from the face set that I reach for when other brushes are dirty, so they're not my first choice, but they're my second choice, is this is their powder brush. This is the F05. I also like this one. I use this one more than the large brush. This is the F02. It's kind of like a small, like tapered dome brush, which I use for setting my under eye. I use for like getting powder in the corners of my nose. I do like this one. I would say this one gets used almost as much as the 2 kind of more buffing brushes. And this is one that when all of my other bronzer brushes are dirty, I use this for bronzer. And this is the F03. All right, the brush that I don't use at all, is this one. And this is the F06. All right, is there anything wrong with this brush? No, it is a little bit more compact. It is a little bit, you know, tighter. It's pinched in at the ferrule. The brushes, the bristles don't seem to have as much movement as the other ones. It's like the other ones, they move quite a lot. And maybe I'm preferring something like that. But I also feel like this one here, the bristles move a little bit more, even though they're excuse me. Even though they're about as long as this, maybe they're a little bit longer. Yeah, they're a little bit longer. I feel like because these guys are short, they're really densely packed in there. I've tried using this with cream bronzer, cream contour, was terrible for cream blush. I tried using it for foundation. I just didn't find a way to use this. You have this, what do you use it for? Because I have not found a way to use it that makes me want to go, yeah, that's my brush of choice. So this is the one out of the whole face set that I was like, did not get the whole eye set. I picked these 5 brushes. All right, so this one here is the one I use the most. I love this. This is the E06 because it's short. It's slightly domed. It has some movement. This is great for buffing like lower lash line. Or if I want to pick up color and like tap it in a like really distinct area on the outside corner without it kind of going everywhere. This is great for placing color and for smudging stuff along the lash line, upper and lower. If this is clean, I'll put it in a highlight shade and I'll hit the inner corner. This is great for so many things. I find that I don't really use this angled brush. This is the E09. It's okay. I tried using it when I was using the eyebrow powders. This was too chubby, too thick. I feel like I need something that's a little bit skinnier. This one is from Anastasia. I feel like if you're looking at them, this one is just a little bit skinnier and I get crazy eyebrows with this. How I've been using this is not for eyeliner or for eyebrows, but for taking a darker colored eyeshadow, you know, picking it up like this, and then stamping it over a liner just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere because you're not getting a really thin line with it. So this is great to like set stuff, or if you want it kind of like a smudgy powder along the lash line. If you want something a little bit more detailed, I feel like this wants to do a lot of stuff, but it doesn't work well for my eyebrows. It doesn't work well for fine liner work. This is more of like, okay, I'm gonna use these stiff bristles to kind of stamp powder over my kohl liner or my gel liner to make sure it doesn't move anywhere all day. That's really the only way I've been using this. I can't tell which one this is because like part of the number is gone. So I'm so sorry. But this brush here, I was hoping it would be good for like potted gel liner and using it in my upper waterline. This is, again, like this, a little too thick for my personal preference. Could you make them work? Yeah. Are they as elegant as some of my other brushes? No. So these are ones I don't use that much. I kind of have been using these two, but this one's my favorite. This is the E11. I like it because it's a little bit more domed. It's not quite as long on the bristle. I feel like the bristle on the other one's a little bit longer and you don't have as much of a taper on the end. I feel like these kind of come up and there's a little bit of a dome, but I love the taper here. I feel it fits really well in the socket. So I prefer this one. The E12 is nice. It just feels like sometimes it's a little long and there's so much movement, it gets really messy when blending. And I don't have particularly large like eyelids, so something a little bit smaller that's a little bit more controlled like this works a little bit better. Now, compared to a lot of other eyeshadow blending brushes that I like, I prefer a natural like goat hair. So I love the ones from Rougher. I love the ones from Sonia G. I do have some Wayne Goss brushes that I've had for a long time that are, I think they're Blue Squirrel or whatever. They're beautiful. Are these gonna replace those? No, but these are actually really great because these are what I take with me when I travel. Because I don't wanna take my really expensive brushes unless they get kind of munched and treated poorly in transit. I feel like having good brushes that are not top tier, so you don't have to baby them when you're traveling, are really good options. And I feel like there are some formulas that do best with synthetic brushes. These are nice synthetic brushes. They're not my favorite. I picked up another one of these. I love the BK Beauty, the Angie Hot and Flashy. This is the 506, the A506. This is what I use for concealer. I love them so much. I got one, I needed another. So I have 2 of these. So when one is getting washed, the other one is handy dandy. Love that. I also picked up a couple of kind of big brushes. This one right here, this is the 110. Oh my goodness. This is what they're billing as, like before they had the Angie 506 brush, this is what they were talking about using for concealer. So you place your concealer down and then this just kind of buffs it in. And I've seen Lisa, who owns the brand, use this to do her concealer and it's like magic, and I really like it. I feel like the texture of these bristles is so much softer and a different quality than what you're getting from Sydney Grace. The price difference is also, these are more expensive each brush individually, but I've been obsessed. This is the 105. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is great for face powder, but I've been using this for bronzer. I know she's big, she's thick, she's massive, but I'll pick up some like powder bronzer. I'll kind of like puff off a little bit on the back of my hand. And then as I start doing this, I don't get like really big, like crazy application. It's just enough. It's not too much. Sometimes I'll take a little, okay, maybe I got a little too much bronzer, a little bit of finishing powder in here. Oh my goodness, this lightly diffuses everything and it's so whisper soft. If you want to use it for setting your face, if you want to use it for bronzer, I got this because I watch Khaki from Khaki Reviews Beauty. She cracks me up, but she uses this for bronzer. She uses this for blush. She uses this for all sorts of cheek products, cream and powder. And it's always like, it's like magic as she's stamping her face. I'm like, how does that work? I don't know, but it's magic. Love it. So I picked these two up and I feel like I see why, if I'm going to be investing in a synthetic brush, I feel like I need more BK Beauty. I have the two concealer brushes from Angie Hot and Flashy, and I have another small one that I've used that's kind of more like a liner brush. Teeny tiny, so specific, so good. I feel like I get the hype and I want more of these. Let me share a couple of skincare products I've been using. Back in love with May Love's Glow Maker. I used to use this religiously for several years. I started trying other vitamin C's, especially beauty pie ones. Didn't love them, and then I just quit using vitamin C and I was like, what was I thinking? I love this. Years ago, I used to use CE Ferulic. And that's like now if you were to get like a 1 ounce bottle of it, the CE Ferulic from SkinCeuticals, I think is like 180 some odd dollars. Like what? You're getting vitamin C, vitamin E, you're getting ferulic acid and hyaluronic acid in here. Are they identical formula wise? No, but I feel like this is giving me the same thing, and this is just what, $33? It's $32.95 or something. This is fantastic. This is one of those things that I have been using morning and night. And when I use something like the SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic, I'm very careful, like 2 drops here, 2 drops here, and I make it go everywhere. When something is not expensive and it's not precious, I love being able to use like a full dropper morning and night. And I'm not using a full dropper, but it's very much a lightweight liquid vitamin C serum. Does not smell weird. I know sometimes like the CE Ferulic from SkinCeuticals can smell like hot dogs. I've heard that before. But I feel like because I'm using correct quantities of this and not babying it and trying to stretch it out like I was with the one from SkinCeuticals because I paid an arm and a leg for it, I'm getting the benefits of the vitamin C before it fully oxidizes. And I think that's what's great about this. You can put it on, get the benefits of it, and you don't have to be precious worrying about how many dollars am I putting drop wise? Love this, love this. Here's a sunscreen that I have like 2 backups in my skincare closet. This is from Crave Beauty. This is their Beat the Sun. And I had to look at the title because it used to be the Beat Shield. So years ago, Crave Beauty came out with this really beautiful, very hydrating, glowy SPF that had beetroot in there as a layer of antioxidants and other things. And it was an SPF 50. And then there was this big, huge, like kind of kerfuffle in the skincare world where a lot of Korean SPFs, and this one's manufactured in Korea, did not have the SPF on the bottle. So Crave found that theirs was also not an SPF 50 with a 4+ PA rating like they had been told by the manufacturer. And so they pulled it, they refunded people's money, and they went back to the drawing board and they came up with what was for them glowy, hydrating, nourishing, sat well under makeup, did all the things that we were looking for at a formulation that people would want to use. And that's what I find that this is. This is an SPF 40. I usually prefer a 50, but I love the way that this feels, as well as a 3 PA plus rating. All right, so I'm very fair. I don't find that I have any white cast from this, but I'm not the person to ask about that. But I like how glowy it is. It's very hydrating. In the summertime, I will put on my vitamin C. I will put on a nourishing barrier kind of protecting layer, and then I'll put this on and that'll be it for the day, and then I'll put my makeup on. I have really been liking this. I have 2 more bottles in my skincare closet. It's $20. You're getting 1.7 ounces. It's great. I am trying a different SPF right now, another Korean SPF, but it's an SPF 50. This is one that I know works really well, is cosmetically elegant, and it's the one I'm willing to repurchase, and that I wear the right amount of every day. And if you're curious, I'm gonna double check, but I think it's a 1/4 teaspoon on your face every day, which is a little bit more than you would think. But this is beautiful. All right, I picked up a couple of skincare items from Make. One of them is this. This is their Hydroscape Moisturizing Reverse Emulsion. Love the glass packaging. It feels very heavy and very luxe. This is what it looks like. This is kind of like an interesting sort of, like it's very dewy, it's very glowy. But you know what's interesting about this is when I put it on my face, after a while, like I'm still patting it in, it feels really nice and super hydrated. Do you see the difference in the glow? I know I just put this one on, but this is the SPF. This stays glowy like this for a long time. I feel like maybe it's a little bit more hydrating than my summer skin needed. I'm gonna save the rest of this bottle and try it now as the weather is cooling down and we're shifting into fall, winter. This might be perfect on my combo skin in cooler months, but it felt a little bit too glowy and a little bit, so if you have combo or oily skin, this is a nice light layer, but it's so glowy. It's so, and it almost felt like it was making my foundation and whatever else break up. I like this, but I feel like it's maybe better suited for people with drier skin, but it's not the first like hydrating serum that I'm going to purchase. I feel like if I wanted to go and repurchase something, I would get something else in place of this. Is it bad? No, but it's not like I'm addicted to it. If you're curious, you are getting 1.7 ounces here. It's not like break the bank expensive. I think it's like in the $30 range, which to me is really good. Now, if you can get it on sale during one of their 20 or 25% off sales, that's great. But I like this. I'm just not in love with this. Here's one that I have had kind of different feelings about. And this is another product from Make. This is the Microcrystalline Skin Polish. This is one of those where it looks kind of like a soft mousse. But what it does is it has these really fine pieces of polishing. And I'm not sure what's in there, but it's a physical exfoliant for the face. I use it, you know, from here to like chest. I'll use it before I get in the shower in the morning. So I will, you know, rinse my face, get it a little bit damp to take off whatever nighttime skincare I had on. And then I'll get a little bit of this because it works best for me on damp skin. And it does leave my skin feeling super polished, super soft. But I don't know that it's exfoliating my face the way that an acid exfoliator, my favorite one is the one from Peach and Lily, the resurfacing, the blue agave one. I'll have to put the name up for you. Or the other one that I love is from May Lindstrom. And what is it? The Clean Dirt. Man, that stuff is so good. Love the Clean Dirt. If I'm going to be using a physical exfoliant, even though this one is a lot more affordable than the Clean Dirt, we're getting 1.69 ounces here, I'm more likely to pay the $80, $90 for the Clean Dirt because it's such an experience. It smells so good. It feels really good. My skin always feels baby soft, and probably not get this again. Is it bad? No. Is it my favorite? All right, so this next product, some people are loving, over the moon for. Is it good? Yeah. Is it fabulous? In my opinion, no. Okay, let me tell you about it. This is the new foundation from Smashbox. This is the Always On Skin Balancing Foundation that has hyaluronic acid and adaptogens. I have the shade F20N. It's a neutral fair shade. I'm wearing it today. I feel like it makes my skin look good as long as I am freshly exfoliated. I found that this product will catch, and I didn't even know I had dry patches, especially in the middle of summer, like right here on my cheeks or on my forehead. This is supposed to not crease, not transfer, be sweat proof, wear for 16 hours. That's a really tall order, and it sounds like the sort of thing that somebody with mature skin would like. Now, this is supposed to be medium coverage, and it can be medium coverage. I am not over the moon for this the way that Tati is, or Risa Does Makeup is. Like, they love this. It can be very buildable, or you can thin it out with like a damp sponge. It doesn't have to be all of that, but this shows every single dry patch on my face, and I can wear other ones that don't do that. I have stick foundations that are more forgiving on my face, and stick foundations usually aren't. I feel like this is one where I have to have like the perfect skin day. I have to be freshly exfoliated, and then on top of that, this can sometimes leave me just a little bit feeling tight and dry, so I have to put down a really glowy SPF. And when I do all of those things, then this wears well. But sometimes it really feels like a lot of hoops to jump through. Does it wear for 16 hours? Yeah. Does it look good on my skin? Most of the time. Sometimes I'll get settling like right here in these kind of deeper expression lines, or right here in the corners of my nose, or in the corners of my mouth. It's now, and I feel like a lot of foundations do that, but when you say you don't crease and you don't settle, that's a bold claim. I feel like this does. Is it the worst foundation I own? No. But I just heard such glowing reviews. I wanted it to be like amazing. And it's okay. I've been buying a lot of eyeshadow. I know I have. And these Solo Shadows from Merit. Okay, when I first tried them on, I'll link the video for you here in the description box down below. I was in love. I was like, these are the easiest thing ever. And I feel like these are really pretty. I have two shades. I have the shade Viper, which is kind of like this really pretty kind of army green shade. Here's what I've noticed. When I apply these with a goat hair brush, and not all goat hair brushes are made for cream products, these apply beautifully. I also struggle with the closure on here because I know it's not closed all the way. But you have to, I feel like my hands have a lot of skincare on them. You have to twist them just right. So if you have problems opening and closing like small containers, you might struggle with this. I've been wearing this shade here a little bit more. It's mid-century. This is kind of like a warm brown. This has been good for using it as a base for another, like if I was wanting to build a little bit of color and then put something sparkly over the top. I feel like these are really good for that. I've been using the green shade in Viper as like eyeliner, which I really like, and then it's bulletproof and it stays all day. The one thing I'll tell you is, do you see how there are places where it's a little bit darker, a little bit lighter? This is one of those eyeshadows that you gotta blend quickly. You cannot do like a little bit here, a little bit there, and keep buffing and blend. No. You have to, like, one eye, get the proper amount on your brush and buff, blend, to do whatever you want, and then move to the other. Because the one time I was going back and forth, I ended up with patchy holes. So I do like these. You just have to be like, okay, time for eyeshadow, and go. I also find these don't, for me, for the synthetic brushes that I have, I've been using the ones from Sydney Grace. I've been using other ones from other brands. They just are easier for me to blend quickly when I'm using a goat hair brush. I feel like the neutral shades might be a little bit easier to blend and not have problems with, but I have heard, and I don't know because I don't have oily lids, is that if people who have oily lids, these don't set down and aren't budge proof. They crease, but if you like kind of like that rock and roll look, you might like that. It's not for me, but I think these are great if you like a really simple eye look, like a one and done look, but you gotta have the right tool and you kind of have to like one eye at a time. I feel like that's how these work best. I am in love with the Roman Glasting Melting Balms. Love these. These are so good. So these are a Korean lip product. This is my favorite shade here in Hippie Berry. It's a sheer glossy red. These have kind of lived in my purse or my pocket all summer long. Another one that I like and that I use a lot is kind of like their mauve shade. This one's called Kaya Fig. They're super pretty. These have the texture of something that's plushy without being sticky. They have a little bit of body to them, a lot of really soft kind of balm that are glossies. You can't twist them up and twist them down. And these work just like a regular lipstick. Twist it up and you can twist it down. So they have a little bit more body to them, a little bit more heft. They last on the lips a little bit longer, and I find that they don't melt and trail out of the lip lines as much. And for somebody with mature lips, that's really important. This last one here is called Nougat Sand. So I have kind of like a, you know, a red, kind of like a mauve tone and a more nude shade. I really, really like these. I feel like this is a really great Korean lip product if you like something that's sheer but glossy, and these improve the state of my lips. I could start out with really dry, kind of flaky lips. If I keep reapplying one of these all day long, by the end of the day, my lips are actually more hydrated and in a better state than like before I put this on in the morning. I really like these. I think these are fantastic. Another one that I really like is this from Hard Candy. This is their Insta Pout Lip Melt. This is the shade My Type. Okay, this is one of those that once you click it up, there's no clicking it down. So you have to be careful with this, but this is such a pretty sheer glossy shade. I really like these. This one's definitely softer than the ones from Romand, but it feels good on the lips. It does have a little bit of tingle, not a lot, because it's supposed to be a plumping sort of situation. But I picked this up at Walmart. I'm not mad at it. Here's one that you can tell I have been enjoying because I'm halfway through. This is the Glosstopia lip oil. Okay, so this is the one in Peach Dream. It smells like, you know, the peach rings, those gummy candies that are kind of orange and yellow, and they have like the sour stuff on the outside. That's what these smell like. This one is really, really lovely. I think that this little ball at the top is really cute. I use it all the time to screw it and unscrew it. I like it. I actually really, really like this. I feel like this is a really nice, it's clear, a really nice, easy lip product, and it's not expensive. It's a nice drugstore lip oil. One that I do not recommend is the one from LA Girl. This is the watermelon one. This is their lip oil nourishing gloss. Okay, I like the doe foot. It's nice. It's kind of teardrop shaped. This one smells delicious. Smells like a watermelon Jolly Rancher or a watermelon Hubba Bubba, but it tastes like soap. Now you're like, what are you doing? Eating your, I'm not eating it. I'm not like, but I'm always drinking from a refillable tumbler. And I end up with product stuck here. And when it goes back in my mouth, I taste it. And I will not use this. I don't recommend it. Because if you're trying to stay hydrated the way I'm trying to stay hydrated, this is gonna taste like soap and you're gonna wonder if your dishes got thoroughly rinsed. Do not recommend. And I wanted to really love it because it's affordable and it's drugstore. If you're looking for a drugstore lip oil, I would go the Hard Candy Glosstopia way. All right, here's another couple of drugstore lip products. I do love the reformulated, rescented lip scrubs from e.l.f. So smart that they put it in a slimline packaging. They used to have it like a regular bullet lipstick, and as you would scrub and exfoliate, and it was a much harder like formula, that mine always snapped off at the base and it was like broken in there, so I could like shove out the broken bullet into my hand. I have to put it back in and roll it just barely up and then do this, and I got goo everywhere. I still kind of get goo everywhere, but I like that this is kind of slimline packaging. It's a lot softer. This is the coffee one. This smells so good. This smells like a cup of coffee. I feel like it was smart of them to repackage and to make the formula just a little bit softer. It does exfoliate. It does work really well on the lips, and she's not expensive. I am not as big a fan of this. This is their new Squeeze Me Lip Balm. This is the one in grape. Now I have been using it. You can see I'm like halfway through. I feel like it's kind of small. I know she's not expensive. What, $3 or $4? This is the grape one. I love the smell. It reminds me of like Dimetapp as a kid, and it does have a very subtle color to it. The problem I have with this is the texture, is that it ends up kind of sticking to itself, and where my lips touch, I can sometimes get product collecting. I hate that. And then if I ever like am talking and smiling and there's too much on my lips and I get any of it on my teeth, I cannot get it off my teeth. It's so hard. Oh my goodness. And I can feel it because like my teeth feel slick and weird. I wear a night guard at night, and I got this on my night guard once. Oh my goodness, it took the next day with actual soap and a toothbrush to get this off when I was brushing that night guard. Okay, so for me, this formula, I like the packaging. I like that it has this updated slanty, applicator. I love the smell of it. I like that it comes in different flavors. I feel like it's an okay balm. You just can't over apply, because if you do over apply, you get goo in the corners, you get kind of like that weird ring around the inside of your lips, and then whatever it touches, it sticks to forever. So not a fave. Last product here is just a new shade of an already loved lipstick formula, and it's the Signature Lip Lightweight Lipstick from Merit. I picked up the shade 1990. Oh my goodness. Okay, these are $26. This is a beautiful, beautiful lipstick. Like, where is a mirror? This would look a lot different if I took my glowy lip products off, but it's just enough of a brown lip without being too dark. Now, I'm old enough to have lived and worn makeup in the 90s. Love 90s makeup, and I like that we're kind of getting a resurgence, a renaissance of 90s makeup. But this brown lip is the brown that I wanted. It wasn't too gray, it wasn't too dark, it wasn't too burgundy. It was really, really lovely. This is what I wished I had. This feels very similar. It's a little bit cooler in tone than my favorite other brown lipstick from Lisa Eldridge called Meet Me in Berlin, but this is $26 and Lisa's lipstick is $36. And you can pick this up at Sephora when you're shopping, and you have to order from Lisa. But I really love this brown lipstick, and I've really been devoted to brown lipstick. All right, so last thing, it's a beauty product, but it's not necessarily a makeup item. Hair clip. This is from the brand Machete. I got this and I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. It's not quite big enough for me, so my oldest daughter, who has a little bit less hair than I do, has claimed it. But first of all, I love that it's like a little checkerboard. This is a really high quality clip. This is not like one of those clips you could get, you know, at Walmart or something. It is much better. I feel like the spring is better. It holds the hair really well. I feel like it's less likely to get broken after years and years and years of use. And she was expensive. I think this was like $40. The other thing that's really cool, you don't just have like these teeth here. You might be able to see them here. There's more teeth in here on the inside on both sides. So as your hair gets caught up in there, it's held by this, but there's also ones at a slightly different angle that kind of hold everything together. The other thing I picked up from Machete are these little charms, and I love being able to wear the same earring every day and dangle something else from it. There are some beautiful combs and brushes that kind of have this sort of feel to them. This is a vintage hand mirror, but not that they have hand mirrors, but it's that Bakelite feel. It feels like really high quality plastic, and that's what Bakelite is. It's a plastic. But I feel like I want to see, I would love to try some of their sunglasses. Beautiful. I would like to get the next size up, like the biggest hair clip they make, to see if it would hold my hair. But I really feel like my first experience with Machete was good and interesting. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to do my best to link as many of these in the description box down below. And if you shop through the links in my description box, it does help to support my channel. So I really appreciate that. I want to know, what products have you been loving? Which ones have like a shot to the top of the list, blown your socks off? You're like, that's so good. Like you're telling the mailman. I want to know what that is. And then the other ones that you're kind of like, oh, I thought it was going to be, and it's not. And like, which ones aren't working? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.